Hey guys.
All right, folks, we're here today to check out a single. A single. Yes, you heard that right. A single from Kataklysm. This is not part of any record. They just released this song on its own. The name of the track is The Rabbit Hole, and we're here to check out the video. It's a visualizer. I love those.
We love visualizers, but I also say we also love jumping into the rabbit hole. Like,
Fuck, I feel like we do that quite a bit.
I feel like that's kind of like a staple of the channel.
Yeah, the other day was there was a guy on the comment section of a video. I think it was Electric Callboy. He's like, "Can you guys please stay on topic?" Which I replied, "You must be new here.
You must be new, man.
You must be new, because if there's one thing we never do is stay on topic."
Yeah.
All right, Kataklysm, The Rabbit Hole. Let's fucking go. Wow, a lot more meaty and a lot less groovier than what I was expecting coming in.
Let me wipe my face down. That was hot.
Wipe, not wet.
No, let me wipe my face down.
Oh.
That was hot.
All right, so what do you think about this single, "The Rabbit Hole" by Kataklysm?
I gotta say, you know what's funny is as people that know Maurizio, this is the most Maurizio song Cataclysm has made.
What do you mean in terms of the lyrics?
Yeah, in terms lyric-wise.
Lyric-wise,
Lyric-wise, as people who know him, this is the most him song. So I'm not surprised it's a single. Because then the whole album would have to be kind of like this, and
No,
lyrically,
not necessarily, but
no,
okay,
but
I
it
get
have
what
to
you're
be
saying.
within line. And I think lyrically, the song kind of covers what an album would cover in one song.
Yeah, in terms of the theme of a record.
Yeah.
If you were want to
If
put
you
it
were to
that
put
way.
it into a record,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you want to break down the theme from that perspective.
It's very Maurizio.
Dude, but it's pretty. I mean, the only thing you didn't cover is that the water made the frogs gay. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that was left off the table. But we're living in an age where conspiracy theories. It seems to be the order of the day these days.
Yeah.
It's like there's a conspiracy theory about everything. By the way, on topic with that, because that has to do with the song, so I'm not going completely off topic here.
With the tinfoil helmet.
I like that. That was a nice touch. What I was going to say is that being Canadian and more so Portuguese, I grew up in Portugal. I came to Canada in 1996. I never really understood where the conspiracy theories and the lack of trust for the government was coming from. I just didn't understand it because, I grew up in a post-fascist regime in Portugal. So I grew up during a democracy already, like established democracy in Portugal. And not that we trusted everything that the government said, but there was also not a lot of lack of trust.
It was
because we came from a fascist regime into a democracy.
It was more of
I felt like things were more on the up and up.
It was more of people were like happy where they were going, so why complain? Like they knew where they were at, and now we're
there was more checks and balances. Obviously,
Yeah.
there was more checks and balances. And the media at the time that I was growing up in Portugal, it was really there to create those checks and balances. It was not like the media was there to give you an opinion on the news. The media was there to give you the news, and then it was up to you to form an opinion one way or another. So, because I didn't grow up in a time of 24 hours news networks, CNN didn't exist when I was growing up. Fox News did not exist. None of that shit exists. MSNBC didn't exist.
I think that's where you fuck it. That's where you fuck.
Because you have to create content.
No, but the human mind, when it comes to living in a country where you can easily divide people, especially like the United States, I think that's one of the countries that you can easily divide people within a second.
But the bigger the country, the easier it is to divide.
True, but I also think it's the people.
There's a lot of.
I also don't think it's the people of America. I think it's the people behind. Because
the propaganda machine.
Having two news outlets and having
there's more than two, but okay.
Okay, but having two major news outlets
that are not really news driven.
Yeah, and having them be kind of polar opposite on takes. That's how you divide people. So it's not the fault of the American people. It's more the fault of them.
Because once again, I didn't grow up in this environment. I grew up in an environment where the news were the news, and then it was up to you as the listener or the viewer of the news to make up your mind on said news. Because they didn't have talking pieces. They didn't have like a guy there spewing a political agenda from one way or another, or spinning a story into something else. No, we came from a fascist dictatorship. So when something broke on the government, the fucking media would drive that shit like as deep, because they basically wanted to out anybody who was doing shit wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So like, they didn't care what party you were. They just wanted to out you for doing whatever it was wrong, because we came from a regime where you didn't have that kind of a freedom. So then having that freedom
you don't
took
want
you to the whole. You didn't want to go back again to where you were.
Exactly.
Having said that, now Portugal is kind of going back to where we were, but that's a different conversation for a different time. So the point that I'm trying to make here, which now has kind of got lost in this whole spiel, is that the whole conspiracy driven thing, which is the theme of this song, it's becoming more popular because I feel like there's a lack of education in terms of people's understanding of what's been given to them. People don't also want to hear a different opinion than the one they already formed, so they look for things that conform with the opinion that they already have, versus really question, like, because when people say, oh, I question everything, no, you question everything that goes against your opinion. You don't question everything, because when something is fed to you that feeds into the stereotypes and the ideas that you already have preconceived, you don't question those. You only question everything else.
Or if it
So
goes, or if it goes against what you already
that's what I just said.
believe in.
Yeah. So if it goes against what your preconceived idea is,
Then
then
you'll
you
believe
question.
it. Yeah.
Like if it goes against it, you question it. If it goes in favor, you accept
You
it.
accept it.
So that's kind of where we are. So we live in a time where conspiracy theories thrive, and I think one of the reasons why they thrive definitely plays a role on lack of education from people and lack of critical thinking to just put the question marks. Now going back to where I started in terms.
I was gonna say too much space online for people to have platforms to spew that stuff.
Yeah, but people that consume it don't have critical thinking. That's what I'm saying. Because if it goes in favor of their point of view, they accept it. If it goes against it, they deny it. But they don't take the time to, like, am I really being fed the truth or not? Like, so I never understood where that came from in terms of American people. I'm speaking about American people because that's the surrounding that I have, and this song kind of reflects on that. I never really understood where that lack of trust from your government came from. I never understood it because I don't have the history knowledge or the know-how of living in a country from birth to really understand where that dynamic is coming from. Until I watched the Netflix documentary about the war on Vietnam, is available right now. You guys can go check it out. And that's where it all started with Nixon and the whole lying about how they got into that war to begin with. And in that time period, it really developed this lack of trust between government officials, regardless of the party, government officials and the public, because they fed lies to the public in order for them to be able to do what they want. Fast forward to the invasion of Iraq, post Kuwait, when they said that it had weapons of mass destruction, which never existed. So there's a continuous history of your rights being trampled upon and you being lied upon by these institutions, which corrodes the institution itself. And it really leads to conspiracy theories and this idea that the government is always out to get you. And the more you start to think about it, the more you realize that, you know what, there is some truth to that. Maybe they are out to get you. So to me, the conspiracy theories abound in the U.S. Specifically, we're talking about in the U.S. here. But I think it's because of the infrastructure that's been created with the CIA, with the FBI, with all of these secret operations that happen, Bay of Pigs, everything that's gone on. It really leads to people having this lack of trust, and when they see something, no matter who's in charge, and when they see something, they always think that there is another story behind it. Like everything is a false flag. Everything is a false flag, and it's not, because people are afraid of being bamboozled.
Or people are like, oh, that country, they're doing good financially now. Like they have a new leader. They're gonna move a little bit left, like away from the West. How much time is going to pass until he gets taken out and someone else is going to take over?
But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. If you look at the whole Vietnam War situation, watch that documentary. Is really eye-opening just to see how America got involved in that war to begin with, and then the way they exit that war is parallel to how they exit Afghanistan. It's incredible how history keeps repeating itself, and we keep making the same mistakes. Anyways. All of this to say that it goes to the theme of the song, which is conspiracy theories. Everybody's got one. And I'm not one to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, but I do have a lot of questions that I feel like I've been unanswered, like landing on the moon. I honestly, call me crazy, but I don't think we ever landed on the moon. Just keeping it real.
When it comes to conspiracy theories, I don't think I'll sit there and debate. I'll sit there and I want to listen to someone who has a lot of
knowledge?
No. You can never say knowledge when it comes to conspiracy theories.
But the only way to break a theory is to have somebody with knowledge to poke holes into the whole theory.
Like, for example, that's why I said the song is very Mauricio. If me and Mauricio are sitting down and he has something on his mind, I want to hear everything. Like, I want to hear everything just because I want to hear how far down the rabbit hole we can go with this. Like, what he's going to say that I can say, and then we're going to go like...
interject?
Yeah, because then it creates more of a conversation and less of...
Yeah, because I think when you go to a discussion on a conspiracy theory, on anything, I always go into a conversation with anybody on any topic, assuming that I don't know enough about said topic.
Yeah.
So I always go with an open mind to listen to the other person, because there's maybe something that I can learn from this conversation that I can take away and reevaluate my point of view, and even build upon it. Because maybe you're going to be able to prove me wrong on certain points, or maybe your lack of knowledge will be able to prove me right on the points that I feel like
Yeah.
I can
I'd
hold
rather
on my
go
own.
into that.
But I'd never like to go into any discussion feeling like I have the upper hand and I
No,
know
no.
everything
I'd rather
about
go
it.
into it feeling like the dumbest person in the room.
Yes,
Because then,
because that's the only way you can improve upon what you're already standing
exactly.
on. That's how I feel too.
Because then, even if I come in as the dumbest person in the room and you say something really dumb, or even me as now the dumbest person can't agree with, that's how I know, we're not. I'm not the only asshole in the room.
No, to quote Volbeat.
Cool, we'll beat.
So on the topic of the theme of the song, I think it's really interesting. I don't see the conspiracy theories diminishing, or the people who believe in
No, I
them
think
diminishing. If anything, is going to keep increasing. Because once again, we're living in a world where pretty soon you cannot even trust what you see. There was a point in time where you couldn't trust what you hear, but you could trust what you see.
Well, now you can't trust what you hear.
But now with AI, you can't trust what you see or what you hear, because you don't know when something is being fake or
Doctored,
or doctor. Like
yeah.
it's gotten so good. The things
Those
have
Joe
gotten
Biden
so
AI
good,
voices are really good, man.
dude. Like. It's crazy. Like there's some AI videos out there, people being interviewed on the streets. It looks fucking legit.
Yeah.
So like I'm just saying, like we're living a really scary time where, unless you physically see it like happening in front of you on the street, I would not put my hands in the fire for nobody.
No.
For just nobody. Now, moving away from the topic, which, like you said, and I agree, it's a very Mauricio like topic. What do you think of the song itself?
The song itself is Cataclysm, which I also think is
Not as groovy as I was expecting
not as groovy, but I think
meaty.
When it comes to their meteor songs, yeah, it's very Cataclysm on the meteor side.
Now, one thing, I checked the video on the description of the video before we watched the video, because I just wanted to make sure that this was a single, not part of an upcoming EP record or whatever. And then when I was reading, it looks like Clemens from Karak did some of that symphonic shit that you hear in the background of the song, which is kind of cool. And I thought that added an eeriness to the song, which also plays really well off of the theme of the song.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done, and shout out to him. He's a magician when it comes to the orchestrations and keyboards. One of the best out there, if you ask me. All right, this is it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. On that note, one more thing to remind all of you: Kataklysm is going to be on tour in North America with Vader. Now, there's no Toronto date, unfortunately. There's an Ottawa, there's Montreal, there's Quebec. And
It's
there's
sad, I miss him.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Mauricio and the rest of the gang. We went from seeing them every other month for a period of time where we saw them in Portugal, we saw them here, and then I haven't seen them in a while. So sad but true. There is no Toronto date, but there is a lot of U.S. dates, and there's a bunch of Canadian dates thrown in there as well. And so go check them out. Pre-order the tickets or order the tickets, whatever it is that you people do when you buy tickets to go to a show. It's a great fucking tour package, like I said, with Kataklysm and Vader up at the top. So go check them out. North America tour coming to a city near you very soon. And we'll see you all at the next one.
See ya.